Hello everybody, welcome to my shop. Today I've got a saw blade, well, a hacksaw blade to be precise. But the thing is, I don't have a hacksaw. And that is exactly the reason for this video. I'm gonna make a hacksaw blade frame for myself. So keep watching the video to see how it's done. Now before we get into actually making the frame, I would like to explain a little bit about how it's gonna look and all the different parts that you need. So let's imagine this to be your blade. There. And the frame is going to look something like this. I'm going to explain to you in a minute how this works. These two are going to hold the blade here, down here, and this one is going to be the shoulder. And what you see right here, this is just going to be some strings or some metal wires that's going to hold the frame all together. And we are going to need one more part here that is going to hold the string tightly on this frame shoulder. And some people make handles quite something like this for the hands to grip, but I'm going to skip this part and I'm just going to make this simple frame that will hold the blade and we'll test it out. Now for the dimensions, this entire length has to be the length of the blade, which we will measure it out in a second. And the height of the frame, I would prefer it to be somewhere around 30 centimeters. And for our American friends, that would be around 12 inches. And the rest of the parts, it will just fall into itself as we build it. So let's go ahead and start building it. I'm going to split this piece into two right down the middle so that it's not just one but two pieces. Now I'll plane it out and smoothen all the surface on both pieces. This one's got a little bit of tree bark on it, but that's not going to be a problem. We'll just remove it later on before we finish the entire frame. Now that the two pieces are done, it's time to cut out the shoulder. The width of this piece is too wide, so I'm going to trim off a little bit somewhere around this, make it a little smaller. I'm going to join these three pieces like I've shown in my drawing. And in order to do that, I'll have to measure out right at the center and cut out tenons on either side of the shoulder and chop out mortises on both hands. Now I'll mark out the area where the tenon needs to go in and chop it out with a chisel. Now that both mortises are done, let me give it a test fit and check it out. Okay, perfect. The important thing I wanted to say was some people would like this handle to be a little bit sloped or slanted, just like you would have on a regular saw, a little bit slanted, rather than just vertical. Gripping it like this, having it a little bit slanted gives you a lot more leverage and power in driving down your saw. But for this video, I'm just going to make the simple straight vertical frame. Maybe I'll do that slanted version in the future in some other videos, but that is not the topic for today. So today I'll just complete the straight simple frame. Now that the frame is done, I'm going to place the blade on the bottom of the frame and mark out the exact location of the pinholes. Now that the exact pin locations and the length of the blade has been cut out, the last thing we're going to do is cut out a slot right in the middle of the wood. This is where the blade is going to slide in, so we have to cut out a slot the exact width of the blade. So all the better if we can cut it out with the blade itself. I don't have proper pins for the saw blade, so I'm going to use a couple of nails in place of the pins. For the top string, as I've drawn and shown here, any type of string can be used. Here I'm going to use a piece of metal wire. You get this in any hardware store. And there are different gauges. The gauge does not matter as long as it's sturdy and strong. And for the tightening stick here, for now I'm just going to use a 6-inch nail to act as a stick. You can use a stick, a metal blade, a wooden blade, anything that works. Now this in of itself is quite tight, but you need to make it more tighter for better strength. So that is the reason why you need a tightening pack here. And the way we're going to do is we're just going to twist it. That's how we're going to tighten it even more. And that's going to hold the tightened string just as it is. If you want it more tight, you can twist it even more. If you want it loose, you can untwist it. And this will hold it in place. That's all about making the frame. Here's the completed saw. Let me give it a try. Okay, here we go. That's it. There you go. If you only have a saw blade and you don't have a saw, why buy? Just build one. Thanks for watching the video. See you on the next one.